Welcome back to Origami Snowman. My name is Matt. I have 2 stacks of books in front of me, you guys. 2 stacks. That's not that out of the ordinary. I usually have books in front of me. I wanted to do a video on nonfiction books that I think are definitely worth reading. And then because I like to be black and white, but I can't be black and white. You ask me, what's your favorite movie? And I'm like, it depends on the time of day, the time of year, what kind of, am I looking to laugh? Am I looking to cry? Am I looking to just be comforted? I can't just answer a question outright. So I ended up pulling way too many books off the shelf, and I realized this is going to be 2 videos. So I made 2 stacks of books. This stack, you go over yonder. No, this stack goes over yonder. This stack we're going to do today. So, in this video, we're going to talk about nonfiction books. And then, of course, it gets muddy. But whatever. Here we're gonna, I'm doing the best I can, you guys. So we're going to start with one that I just read, that I've talked about a couple times. So we're going to get it out of the way, and you guys don't need to worry about it. In Cold Blood by Truman Capote. It's really, really fantastic. True crime novel. I don't usually get into true crime. This was the first true crime, and it reads so well. It is so just, it's prose. What is happening behind me? Bill. Anyway, it's such a well-written book. It's not about the blood and the gore. In fact, he balks at, what are you doing? He's just gone. He's gone now. Okay. He balks, actually, when it comes to the gore. Now, there is gore in it. There are descriptions of the crime scene, but it doesn't go into, like horror territory. He states the facts. There was blood on the wall, It is upsetting to hear what happened because he did such a great job of painting a picture of the victims and you feel their loss, but he also does an amazing job at painting a picture of the perpetrators of the crime. And you definitely feel like there are no monsters in this story. There are misguided people who maybe never quite grasped the value of life. Highly recommended. I talked about it more than I thought I would. One of my favorite writers, Ray Bradbury, Zen in the Art of Writing. It was just a nice read. He gives some really good writing advice. He gives a lot of great anecdotes, stories from his time as a writer, and it's good. It's essays on creativity, essentially, is what this is. It's what it says on the cover anyway. Zen in the Art of Writing by Ray Bradbury. Stephen King wrote a book called On Writing, and it was helpful. It was very interesting. It was a very wise guide, but it was also kind of, what's the word? He says outright, hey, you're not going to be a famous writer, so get that out of your head right away. That's not encouraging. I didn't like hearing that. If you're going to read a book on writing, Zen in the Art of Writing, rather than On Writing. But you can read them both. You got the time. One book that I do not have present. I love rock star biographies and autobiographies. Cash by Johnny Cash. It's I think he wrote 2 autobiographies, the first being Man in Black. But Cash, I didn't read Man in Black. I read Cash, and it is fantastic. And you wonder how in the world did this guy survive? It's amazing. It is so humbling. He doesn't pull any punches. He basically says, all of the mistakes that I made, I chose to make. The bad things that happened in my life, 99% of them are my fault. I did dumb things. And by the grace of God, I survived long enough to tell you about it. So, highly recommend Johnny Cash's autobiography, Cash. Now, I've got 3 books here, and they're all lies. So, I don't know that they fit so much in the nonfiction genre, but the other stack, also full of lies. But we're going to do this anyway. The first one, Little House on the Prairie. Laura Ingalls Wilder. She is the main character in all the stories, and these are based, there's a whole series of these, and they're based largely on her childhood. And I grew up watching the show, loved the show. Are you kidding me? We watched Little House all the time. I didn't read this until I had kids, and I read this to my kids, and it is really good. it's really, really good. And like, there are all the old characters, Laura and Mary and Ma and Pa and Mr. Edwards, like all the characters, they're all here. A lot of people pointed out that even though she wrote these as kind of a, hey, this is my childhood, a lot of it didn't happen. But let's be perfectly honest, if I was going to write about my childhood, and I might have, I would fill it with lies too, which I did. So, Little House on the Prairie, worth reading. This next one, Lemony Snicket, the unauthorized autobiography. Right away, you need to know that it's not real. It's false. But I still love this. I love that Daniel Handler created a character for himself to be while he was writing A Series of Unfortunate Events. And he decided that this character needs a little attention. And so he gave this character an unauthorized autobiography. It is so wacky, and it's filled with crossings out and corrections and lies and little clues and hints. And he alludes to all sorts of secrets that you're never going to unbury. You're never gonna learn what he's got going on in the background. And it's so much fun, especially because he eventually wrote a series, and I cannot remember the name of the series. I want to say The Wrong Questions, something like that. But he is the main character, and it's kind of about his upbringing, not upbringing because he's kind of on his own, but him coming up through these secret societies. And there are a lot of references to this book. So it's all lies, but it's a fun nonfiction kind of lie. Now, this is another nonfiction full of lies, therefore making it fiction, but it's definitely worth mentioning. If you like trivia books, the books where it's just like, there are 38 million squirrels in Ohio, whatever. There's just books of fun random facts. I have a load of them. They're not on my shelves. They're in my basement shelves, my secret library in my basement. But this is sort of in that vein. It's John Hodgman's The Areas of My Expertise. Hang on. Let me read you the entire title. Are you ready? Whew. John Hodgman, a professional writer in the areas of my expertise, which include matters historical, matters literary, matters cryptozoological, hobo matters, food, drink, and cheese, a kind of food, squirrels and lobsters and eels, haircuts, utopia, what will happen in the future, and most other subjects. Now with 100 new hobo names, and featuring the best of, were you aware of it? John Hodgman's long-running newspaper novelty column of strange facts and oddities of the bizarre. It's hilarious. There's literally a chapter of nothing but hobo names. And when I say hobo names, I mean Mastiff Mama, Tennessee Ernie Dietz, Sharky the Secret Cop, Gooseberry Johnson, head brain of the Hobosphere, Weekend Circular Deborah, Marcus Chickenstock. It's just lists of like hundreds of made up ridiculous names. That's like a whole section. It's so funny. So, if you're looking for just the most ridiculous way to spend your time, John Hodgman's The Areas of My Expertise. Highly recommended. Anyway, those are the first few books of nonfiction that I recommend to you. Got this other stack that I'm going to talk about here in just a moment, but you won't see that video for a couple days, maybe a week. I don't know. We'll see. But I promise you, there's some real bangers in here. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I love you all to pieces, and I hope to see you in the next video. So long.